The Golden State Warriors are about to shock the world. As you all know, the Warriors made the playoffs and are now facing off against the Sacramento Kings in the play-ins. In today's video, we're going to be going through 5 integral and crucial players that are going to help the Golden State Warriors beat the Sacramento Kings, and how these 5 players can also help them make a deep playoff run and hopefully win another NBA championship. So make sure to like this video, and guys, 92% of you are still not subscribed to the channel, so it means the world if you could subscribe to the channel, hitting that red button down below. The first is that Stephen Curry needs to put up stellar numbers. Now, as you all know, Steph had himself a pretty amazing season, averaging 26 points, 4.5 rebounds, and also 5.1 assists, while also shooting 45% from the field and at a 3-point percentage of 41% as well. So he did a fantastic job, almost made the 50-40-90 club but just missed out. However, I do believe Steph hasn't been slowing down even at the age of 36 years old. A lot of people thought Steph is near the end of his career, but he continues to play at such a high level, and I think he can definitely give it his all during this playoff run. Steph, as we all know, is a great scorer, and that is what he's destined to be when it comes to him in this playoff run. They are going to try to make a deep playoff run, and Steph needs to be able to perform when it comes to scoring the basketball to the best of his ability. What I have noticed though over the last couple of games is definitely his ability to really trust his teammates and get more of assists and really open up the floor for everyone else. And I think that's fantastic, especially how they did figure that out later on in the season just before playoff time, as I do believe, yes, Steph is a great scorer. He can give you 30, 40, even a 50 bomb at times. However, for Curry to be able to go far in this playoff series, he definitely has to get his teammates involved, and everyone out on the floor needs to be a scorer. For 5 players, it's very easy to guard one player, with that being Steph. However, if all 5 teammates are scoring, then it definitely makes it a lot more difficult, and that's what we definitely saw from Steph over the last couple of games. He may have been only scoring around 24 or 23 points at times, but he was getting himself 7 assists, 6 assists here and there, and getting everyone else involved, which is one of the reasons why they were on a great win streak just near the end of that season. So when it comes to Steph, I think he is capable of really giving it his all during this playoff run, but I do believe what he definitely needs to focus on is not just his scoring abilities, but to be able to get his teammates involved if they want an actual shot at getting another NBA championship. He definitely has the resume to back it up, and the fact that he hasn't been slowing down anytime soon, I think is fantastic. The second is that Draymond Green needs to continue to be the defensive leader out there and not get ejected. Now, this one's kind of an obvious one, but we all know how many technical fouls, how many ejections Draymond Green has had this season, and he definitely needs to change his ways if they actually want a shot at an NBA championship. Draymond Green can't afford to be out of there, and with him out, it definitely lose a lot of defense because of that. So Draymond needs to definitely keep his head on straight when it comes to this playoff run. We all know playoffs does get very chippy, especially against rival teams. We could see Golden State Warriors face off against some pretty tough teams that they've had beef with in the past, and because of that, Draymond needs to be able to keep his cool and be able to play the great basketball that we know he's capable of playing. What I love about Draymond, even at 6'6", 34 years old, he's still playing a very good game of basketball, but also doing it for everyone out there. What I mean by that is we definitely see him not just scoring a lot more, but he's able to get rebounds, get assists, steals, blocks, do everything out there, and I think that's what makes him such an integral part of this team. Now, he finished off the season averaging 8.6 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 6 assists, which I thought was great. He also had a field goal percentage of 50% and a 3-point percentage of 40% as well. And what I love most about most recently that we have seen is that Draymond Green is taking a lot more threes. We actually saw a most recent game against Los Angeles Lakers where they did beat them by 14 points, where he took 7 3-point attempts and also made 5 3-point attempts as well. So he shot 71% from the 3 in that game, which was honestly fantastic. But this is the type of basketball we definitely want to see from Draymond Green. He definitely has to shoot quite a lot more in order to really attract defense, and I think he will continue that when it comes playoff and also championship time. But I think Draymond can still definitely shoot the 3 ball. I know it has been a while since we've actually seen him do that, but people seem to forget that back in the day, Draymond Green actually had a 3-point percentage of around 35%, where at the time it was considered a very good 3-point percentage. So, he definitely is capable of shooting great 3-point shots and also making them at a consistent rate, and we could definitely see him do it again in this playoff run. The third is that Jonathan Kuminga is going to have to step up in this playoff run. Now, as you all know, Jonathan Kuminga earlier on this season has asked for a bigger role, and Steve Kerr actually gave it to him, becoming the starting power forward forward for this team. And now that playoffs have started, it is mentioned that Jonathan Kuminga will actually be the starting power forward for this team, especially when it comes to this playoff run that they are going to make. And this is where Jonathan Kuminga is going to have to show why he deserves that spot and also why he suggested it his starting spot in the first place. So he is standing at 6'8", 210 pounds, and I think his size will definitely be great for this team. He's got a lot of youth behind him as he is only 21 years old, and he finished off the season averaging 16.3 points, 4.9 rebounds, and 2.1 assists, while also shooting 53% from the field and 30% from the three-point line, which I thought was amazing. So we definitely saw him do a fantastic job out there for the Golden State Warriors, especially when he did move into that starting role and actually was given a lot more minutes. He showed out, had such great games, getting above 20 points multiple times, and on top of that, he was able to put on a rebounding clinic here and there as well. So Jonathan Kuminga has now the opportunity to show what he's capable of doing, especially even at a young age of 21. He isn't a rookie anymore. However, a lot of players do believe that he doesn't have enough playoff experience due to the fact that for a lot of the championship runs that he was on, or playoff runs that the Golden State Warriors were on, he wasn't getting that many minutes. He was getting 10 minutes, 11 minutes here and there, but I do believe a starting position is definitely very different. However, when it comes to Kuminga, I think he's definitely not just mature enough, but his game has evolved so much this season. I think he is capable of stepping up to the plate. On top of that, I think him at 6'8", being able to move like a guard is definitely going to help this team tremendously. Having another score out there of someone of his caliber is definitely going to take off some of the ease from Steph Curry and be able to really space out the floor and get everyone involved. The fourth is that Klay Thompson is going to have to play very consistently. Now, as you all know, when it comes to Klay Thompson, he had himself a pretty solid season, but a very rocky one at that. And the reason being is that his inconsistency sometimes on the floor was getting a lot of Warriors fans upset. But now it does seem that finishing off the season, he was able to find his groove a little bit, and we think he may be able to bring this groove on into the playoff series. Now, when it comes to Klay Thompson and also the rest of the Warriors, we do know that they are in the play-ins, so there are some crucial make or break games that they do have to play, and Klay Thompson is going to show out if they need an opportunity to be able to make it. It's definitely going to be a lot of pressure, but I think Klay Thompson will be able to handle it. But finishing off the season, he did such a great job over the last 5 games coming to the end. He also had a 32-point game against Utah, another 30-point game roughly against Houston as well, and also against LA Lakers had himself 27 points as well. So he did a fantastic job in those last 5 games, and he was able to find his groove, and his efficiency from shooting was also fantastic, where the most highest one was actually against that Houston, where he dropped 29 points and had himself a field goal percentage of 73%. So he can definitely still put up those numbers, and I think he has finally found his way and found his groove back, and this could definitely be a huge plus for this team. I do have to agree though, a lot of Warriors fans have been saying that Klay Thompson needs to play well or else the Warriors won't make it to the championship, and I completely agree. Stephen Curry, he is a splash brother, but so is Klay Thompson, and both of them need to be splashing if the Warriors want a legitimate shot at getting to an NBA championship series and also winning that chip. The fifth is that Brandon Podziemski is going to have himself a big role, especially as a rookie. And as you all know, Brandon Podziemski was kind of thrown into the deep end as he is just a rookie at 21 years old, but he has honestly been such an integral part to this team that now it does seem that he is going to have a big role in this playoff run. As you all know, Podziemski really does everything out there. He averaged this season 9.2 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 3.7 assists, so he did a fantastic job for the Golden State Warriors. But when it comes to his stats, it may not shout out MVP, but when it comes to the little things that he was doing for this team and the intangible things, that's what really made him special and why the Golden State Warriors, especially Steve Kerr, kept putting him on the floor. And I think he's definitely going to be needed in this run. A lot of the people are actually comparing Brandon Podziemski to Gary Payton II, and the fact that GP2 is still in the team, I think them two coming off the bench is definitely going to be a matchup nightmare for any opposing team out there. But when it comes to Brandon Podziemski, I think he's just done a fantastic job throughout this whole season, especially as a rookie, and really showing a lot of maturity even at a very young age. He is the same age as Jonathan Kuminga, but the fact that he has only been in the NBA for 1 year and to be able to pick up NBA style basketball, also the Golden State Warriors style basketball in just a couple of months ever since being drafted, I think has honestly been great. He had such great games this season and he put on an absolute clinic in certain times, but I think the biggest thing that he really does well out there is rebound the ball very, very well. Now, where I see Brandon Podziemski being a huge asset for this team is not actually on the offensive side of things, but the defensive side of things. They got enough scorers in Steph, Klay, you also got Wiggins, you also got Jonathan Kuminga. What I do believe they need from Brandon Podziemski coming into these playoffs is due to the fact that he has such a great, defensive IQ. That is what is going to be needed from him. He isn't going to give us 15, 20, 25 points every single game, but he may get a couple of steals, play great defense, and also 6 or 7 rebounds, and that will be a great game for Brandon Podziemski. So definitely keep an eye out for him in these playoff series, but he's definitely going to be very much needed if they want a deep playoff run.